Hello friends, I'm Sernam Muhammed, Assistant Professor of English Language and Literature. So today we are going to learn a lesson from functional grammar and communication in English. In this session, we will be going through some of the topics in Unit 1, Module 1 from your common paper, Functional Grammar and Communication in English. So please listen carefully. Here we are going to learn some of the important grammatical rules in English language. So as we all know that whenever we try to learn any new language, it is very hard to go through the grammatical structures of that particular language. However, compared to other language, the grammatical structures of English language is very easy. If we try hard, you can easily grasp English grammar. But the condition of other languages, even Malayalam, it's very hard to learn its grammatical structures. So friends, now we are going to learn some of the grammatical structures of English, grammatical rules of English. So I need all your attention and your concentration here. Only then I can help you out to understand all these things easily. And for your sake, I have included a beautiful PowerPoint presentation to make your pathway more easier. Title of our lesson is Word Orders and Sentence Patterns. So as we all know that whenever we try to learn any new language, we'll be going through many complex grammatical structures of that particular language. You know what? Learning grammar of Malayalam, it's very hard. So compared to Malayalam, English grammar is very easy to understand. So here we are going to learn word orders and some of the sentence patterns in English language. So in this lesson, you only have to learn 5 important sentence patterns and word orders. It doesn't mean that there are no other sentence patterns or word orders in English language. If you search, you'll get more. But these 5 are just like very important and common in English language. Then let us see what is a word order. So a word order means the way how words are arranged in a sequential or logical order to form a meaningful phrase, clause, or a sentence. You know what? In the case of Malayalam, even if you rearrange or shuffle the word order, you'll get the meaning of that particular sentence. But you know, in the case of English language, it is not like that. If you misplace any word without following the word order or sentence pattern, it will completely ruin the sentence itself. So that is the reason why word order and sentence patterns are very important in English language. So whenever we talk about English word order, the first word order that comes to our mind would be subject, verb, object. So this is one of the commonly using word order in English language. I'm damn sure you people would be familiar to this word order. So in SVO pattern, subject performs the action and verb identify that action. So as I mentioned before, in English language, word orders are very important. So if you misplace any word without following word order, you will ruin your sentence. So in this chapter, you will learn 5 basic formats, 5 basic word orders. So these 5 basic orders are not enough to cover the complex structures of English language. However, these are just like very important, commonly using basic word orders in English language. So please give all your ears, only then I can help you out. So first format is this, yes, we, subject, verb. The second one is yes, we, o, subject, verb, object. The third one is yes, we see, subject, verb, complement. Then fourth one is yes, we, o, see, subject, verb, object, complement. Then fifth one is yes, we, o, subject, verb, or indirect object plus direct object. So these are the 5 basic word orders in English language. Now it's the time to go a little deeper. So now I'm going to take you through these 5 basic patterns. So first, let me start with the most basic sentence pattern or word order in English language. That is, yes, we. subject, verb. So subject performs the action and verb identify that action. So let us analyze this basic pattern by using the example given in your text itself. So I hope now you can see that example on the screen too. So let us go through both example and try to find which one is subject and which one is verb in that basic pattern. So let us go through the first one, that is boys play. Boys play. So in that sentence, boys is the subject and play is the verb. Look at the next one. Raj is running. Raj is running. So here you can see Raj in red color means it is subject. And running with an underline, it means it is verb. And you can see the helping verb or the auxiliary verb is there, which is in a different color. So that's all about the first basic pattern. There is nothing more to learn about it. So let's move to the next pattern in English language. Now it's time to learn the second pattern, that is SVO. S means subject, V means verb, and O means object. So this is one of the commonly using patterns or word order in English language. So let's analyze this pattern, or let's try to understand this pattern by using the examples which are given in your text itself. I hope you can see those examples on the screen too. So the first example is this: a lion killed deer. So a lion is the subject, the killed, which is in red color, that is the verb, and a deer, that is object. So I'm not going to classify the second example. Instead, I'm going to give you a few seconds to find the classification by yourself. Yes, I hope you got it. Anjita, subject, writing, verb, and a letter, object. So it meets that pattern, means it meets the rule of that pattern. Anjita, subject, writing, verb, a letter. So that sentence is an SVO pattern, so nothing more to define. I hope you got the idea. So friends, I hope you have noticed a term in your text, transitive verb. So let me help you out to understand what is transitive verb. But if you want to understand transitive verb, we also want to know about intransitive verb. So let us try to learn both. So I've included an image in my PowerPoint presentation to understand what is transitive verb and intransitive verb clearly. So let's try to understand this thing with the help of examples given on that image. So transitive verb always needs the support of an object, or else it won't create a sentence with a complete meaning. It can't stay alone. For example, I bought a car. So there, bought need the support of direct object, a car. So I bought a car in that sentence. Bought is the transitive verb and car is the supporting direct object. So the presence of a car is actually helping that sentence to achieve a complete meaning. So take the condition of intransitive verb. It doesn't require the presence of an object to give a complete meaning for that sentence. Look at the example. The baby smiled. So smiled itself very strong and strengthier to stand alone. It itself has got a particular meaning. So the baby smiled. So smiled is the intransitive verb. So if you want to know more about this thing, you can search and find. So far we have learned two patterns. So let's move to the third one. Yes, we see subject, verb, complement. So here you saw a different one. So I hope you people know the meaning of complement. We all love complement, right? So friends, if you want to create a sentence by using SVC pattern, you need a subject, a linking verb or a verb, and a complement. So we all are human beings. We all love compliments, right? So let's try to understand this pattern by using some of the examples given in your text. The first example is this: flowers are beautiful. Flowers are beautiful. So in this example, when we try to classify based on the pattern rule, flowers is the subject, are is the linking verb, and beautiful is the complement. So beautiful, handsome, these kinds of words are very interesting, especially people like us. We all love compliments, right? And we usually use these words for complimenting others too. So the same thing is working here. So let's try to understand the SVC pattern by analyzing the second example. That is, Sheila is a dancer. Sheila is a dancer. So in the above example, beautiful turns to be the complement, and beautiful is adjective. I hope all of you know what is an adjective. So those who have gone through parts of speech before would be knowing what is an adjective. So adjective is just like a word that describes noun, or a word that beautifies noun. So there is no need of explanation for that. So here we already mentioned that all the complements would be either noun or an adjective. So let's move to the second example. And while going through the second example, keep your focus on the complement. And you have to tell me whether the complement is an adjective or a noun. So let's go through the example. Sheila is a dancer. Dancer, which is in red color. So tell me whether it is a noun or an adjective. Yes, it's an adjective, right? No. Yes, you're right. It's a noun. So just cross-check this complement with the complement of the first example. Beautiful. So beautiful is an adjective, and the complement in the second sentence, dancer, is a noun. So that's why I told you complement can be an adjective, either adjective or a noun. So you have got the idea. So let's move to another pattern. So the fourth pattern which is given in your text is SVOC. It seems to be a combination of SVO plus SVC, but it is not like that. This is one of the basic patterns in English language, SVOC. Its expansion goes like this: subject, verb, object, complement. So let us try to go a little deep into this pattern with the help of the example which is given in your text itself. I hope you can see the same example on the screen too. So the students sang the song loudly. The students sang the song loudly. So how can we classify this one according to the SVOC pattern? The students, subject, sang, verb, the song, object, and loudly, a complement. Right, SVOC. So look at the next one, next example. Mary considers the gift as a token of love. Mary, subject, considers, verb, the gift, object, a token of love. That is a complement. So look at the first example. There you can see loudly, a single word, became complement. And look at the second one. A phrase or a collection of words turns to be a complement. Anyway, I hope you got the idea. So there is one more example given in your text. Please analyze and try to classify. So let me remind you one thing, friends, why we need to learn this pattern. We need to learn this pattern to create sentences without making any grammatical errors. So in English, if you want to create a sentence, you have to follow all these patterns. Subject should come first, then the verb, then the object. So this basic pattern should be followed by anyone who is creating sentences in English language. So let's move to the final pattern which is given in your text, that is SVOO. Subject, verb, object, and object. Yeah, I know you are confused. So let me make it more clear. Subject, verb, indirect object, and direct object. Yes, I know this pattern is a little bit tricky. So when we learn this kind of pattern, we need to learn a little bit deeper. So let me try to put it more easier. SVOO, subject, verb, indirect object plus direct object. So if you want to understand this pattern clearly, you should understand the difference between indirect object and direct object. So for clarifying that confusion, I've included a small explanation over here. So let's try to understand with that explanation. Direct object means object that directly receives the action from the verb. Means the verb should have a direct connection with the objective. So how can we determine or how can we identify that? For that we need to use our discretion. So based on the nature of verb, we can identify or determine which object is direct and which one is indirect. So let's try to understand it with the help of the examples which are given in your text itself. So let me take you through the first example. The teacher gave him a present. So let us try to classify or divide that sentence based on the pattern rule. Subject, the teacher. Verb, gave. Him, indirect object, and a present, direct object. Because when we use a verb like give, gave, or given, then there is a question that arises in our mind, what? So that what is directly connected to the verb give or gave or given. So the nature of that verb is in that way. So that is the reason why in this example, present is directly connected to give. So that's why it turns to be direct object and him turns to be indirect object. I hope you got that. So let's check one more example which is given in your text. Sachin told the crew a story. Sachin told the crew a story. How can we classify it? Or how can we divide it based on pattern rule? Sachin subject, told verb, the crew is indirect, and a story is direct. Why it is so? Yeah, told means there is a question arise. What is that? What told? What? Right. What Sachin told to the crew. So that what is directly connected to told or tell or told, so that a story turns to be direct object and the crew who heard or who listened the story turns to be indirect object. I hope you got the idea. So before concluding this session, I just want to add one more point to this. There will be some people who might be thinking that why should we learn word orders and sentence patterns? So for that question, I've got an answer. I don't know whether you have attended any competitive exam or not. If you have attended, you might have come across a question where you have to find the right order of a sentence. Means question would be like this, jumbled sentence or disorientally ordered sentence. So where you have to find the right order and right answer. So in such cases, how can we tackle? There comes the importance of word orders and sentence pattern. If you study these rules perfectly, you can easily tackle this question. If you learn this, you would be knowing where you have to place subject, where you have to place verb, where you have to place object, where you have to place complement, where you have to place adverbial complement, where you have to place direct object, indirect object. So there are lots of word orders and sentence patterns there in English grammatical structure. So if you learn all those word orders and patterns, you could easily tackle such kind of questions. Then you would feel how easy it is. So please learn these patterns seriously, and you can use all the further links that I've included in the PowerPoint presentation for knowing more about different patterns and complex structures. Please stop finding answers based on the flow that's coming on your tongue. Rather, use these kind of grammatical structures in English grammar to find the right answers. So this is Sernam Muhammed signing off. So I would come with another lesson soon. Until then, bye. Thank you.